Look, for us, we made a strategic decision to enter into a partnership. So in China, we have a partnership with Didi Quadi, right? And just to give you like an understanding of the scale, so we're doing a couple million rides a week. Didi's doing 7 million rides a day. Yeah. So they have like 90% of the market share. I mean, if you think about, for those who have been to like Beijing, Beijing is struggling with massive transportation issues, incredible congestion, like environmental issues like no other country I think is dealing with, except for maybe India, right? And so, yes, there's incredibly complicated transportation policies there. And the reason why we ended up partnering for a number of reasons, but one of which is incredibly complex from a government relations perspective to be able to go in and do business in a place like China. We did a similar deal with Ola in India, right? In India, it's like, I don't know if anyone here has experience in dealing with the Indian government, but it's not just like the federal government, it's not just the provincial government, it's not just the municipal government. There's like factions even within cities of having to do business. And so, yeah, working with a local partner like that to be able to cut through some of the GR hurdles has been incredibly important for us. And then we did another partnership with Grab Taxi for Southeast Asia. I think with an eye towards the future, honestly, I think a lot of these other countries are ahead of the game in terms of self-driving cars. They want to be the ones to like come out with the best pilots so that their cities can be on the forefront, because their cities are dealing with congestion in a way that's even bigger than our cities are dealing with. And so that's why like the conversations that are happening in DC, like the Senate and NHTSA at DOT are kind of like under the pump to figure out what the regulations can and should be in the US so we can like win in this industry, make those cars here, have the regulations in place before like we get beat by some of these other developing countries who I would argue like are already thinking about that.
Kari, what about you?
Maybe I'll start with what you just said. We recently opened Airbnb in Cuba after we were allowed to enter the market. And that was actually only possible because we built on something existing. So in Cuba, home sharing has been a common thing, has developed over decades. And it was not organized through an app or the Airbnb ecosystem. So we tapped into very hospitable people who were very willing to host others. And now we provide those Cubans the technology for that so that they can host actually now people from all over the world more easily. But in many places in the world where we are entering the market is already there. People are familiar with it, but we try to do the right thing by actually taking a local approach and either partnering or hiring local talent inside and maybe some consultants as well, and listening to our local community there. There are always, in any market where we start, there are always a few first hosts who are really the front runners who we work with closely, and sometimes we end up hiring them. They're now employees at Airbnb because they were part of the community or still part of the community, but those are just our best allies in anywhere in the world.